It's time for the Coach Groves Show, where we sit down with the head coach of the Darlington Tigers football team and talk about all things Darlington School football. Now we go live to Matt Davis and Ian Griffin, who are standing by with Coach Wayne Groves.
And indeed we are, and very excited to be standing by with Coach Wayne Groves as we get ready for the Week 3 edition of the Coach Groves Show. And the way that the season has been structured so far, it feels like we should be about the middle of the season with 3 road trips to Atlanta in a week and everything that went on with that. But you guys went on the road this last week, Coach. And by the way, before we jump to the first question, welcome to the Coach Groves Show. Coach Groves, we're glad to have you. As I say every week, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for your time, man.
Yeah,
How
glad
you
to be
doing
here.
today?
Oh, doing well. Doing well. I've had 3 good days of practice, and got the Tigers refocused and ready to roll. So let's talk some Tigers football.
Well, let's do it, man. And of course, last week's game at North Cobb Christian, an action-filled game, tons of momentum swings in the game. It was one of those games that the final score did not indicate how competitive the game was all the way deep into the third quarter. You guys played a very good game. So tell us a little bit about your takeaways from the game at North Cobb Christian against a very, very good football team.
Yeah, we knew they were going to be a good football team. We talked about that all week. And, my takeaway was I thought our kids played extremely hard. We got hit with the injury bug in that ball game. We probably had 6 kids that started the game that didn't finish the game. So we have a ton of backups, even like down to our 4th personal protector on punt, that you never work your 4th personal protector on punt. So I was proud of our kids that we played hard. If you take about 2 or 3 plays on offense, 2 or 3 plays on special teams, and even in the fourth quarter, it's 30-23, and we catch a 4th down pass, and something happens over there. The boy rips it out of Jace's hand, but if we convert right there on the 15-yard line going in, you got a chance to tie it, and you're in a dogfight with a really good Final Four football team in the fourth quarter at their place. So the takeaway is we're not far off. We're not far off. A couple of things cleaned up here or there, and it's a totally different story, and we definitely have a chance to win that game, and that's what we want. We want to have the chance to win a ball game in the fourth quarter, and we put ourselves in a situation to do that. They made a few more plays than we did in crucial situations, and that was the difference. But I was definitely pleased on how our kids played and how they played hard, and so that gives us something to build off of definitely going into this week.
Coach, you mentioned Jace Donaldson there in that last segment. He almost had a huge catch that would have extended the drive and given you a chance to tie that ball game up, but he made a ton of big plays. He was our Honeymoon Bakery icing on the plate cake player of the game last week. 3 touchdowns, 80-yarder, 49-yarder run, and a 75-yard reception that he had. I think he also recovered a fumble. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Jace's performance last week.
Well, Jace is one of those guys of about 8 guys that we have that play over 100 snaps in a ball game. I mean, he doesn't come off the field, and he doesn't want to come off the field. He's on offense, he's on defense, he's on special teams, and he's just trying to make a impact as much as he possibly can on the football game. And I guess you could say he's kind of our version of a Travis Hunter. He does everything. He never comes off the field. And he makes an impact. But, we got some other guys that are right there with him. And, the very first rocket sweep play we run out there and Jace takes to the house, you got Bodie Powers over there that's blocking great. You've got our offensive line, of Ty Wood, Lane Brasington, Bryson Jones, Evan Parton, Colton Moman. Those guys are up there blocking their tail off, and they're fitting up safeties and getting around there and getting their blocks. So, it's a team effort, but what we want to do is we want to give a kid like Jace ability a chance. And so when his teammates block for him, he take advantage of the opportunities that he had.
Well, we definitely want to send out congratulations to Jace Donaldson, our Week 2 Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game. Unbelievable game for that young man. And again, just a great team effort from the Tigers. Before we move into our next question here on this first segment, Coach, I know you mentioned a lot of guys there. Are there any other standout performances from the previous game that you want to make sure to point out from last week's game at North Cobb Christian before we start to move forward?
Yeah. Cooper Norris playing offensive line and playing both ways. You got to recognize that. Another guy that's playing over 100 snaps. I thought our wide receivers, Nate Konchesky and Trey Moore, they're getting more physical. They're good blockers out there on the perimeter, which, definitely gives us, a weapon there. And then our tight ends, Stuart Grigsby's doing a good job. obviously playing safety, but playing tight end is a new position for him. And Caleb Covington has stepped up and playing some tight end. So those guys, we rushed for, we had 355 yards of offense. We rushed for over 225 yards. Again, we just can't have those mental mistakes and shoot ourselves in the foot, and that's kind of what it's been our deal on offense. Is we hadn't really been stopped. We stop ourselves through a missed assignment or a bobbled snap or something like that. So we got to clean those things up. We do. We can be very dangerous on that side of the ball.
Excellent. Well, Coach, you guys opened the season with 3 trips to Atlanta. In the span of a week, as we mentioned when we opened the show, you faced 2 really good football teams in Mount Vernon and North Cobb Christian. In what ways do you think this group has grown from the experiences that you've been through together in these first 2 years?
Well, we've had enough adversity, I would say, for at least 2 seasons in these first couple of weeks. But, the one thing we understand is we've learned what it takes to win. We learned what it takes to beat good teams on the road, which is always very difficult to do. I use the analogies that, the tree doesn't grow stronger if the wind doesn't blow, and smooth seas don't make for skillful sailors. So having adversity is good. It lets us understand how to handle wins. It lets us understand how to handle losses, the mental aspect of how we got to bounce back. You get to address all those type things. But I tell the kids, we either win or we run out of time is my thing. We just hadn't got it quite figured out yet. So we got to learn from our mistakes. We had great film this week. We've had great, teaching sessions. We've had great periods of practice. But we're going to continue to grow, continue to develop this football team, and I think our kids are ready to do that. They got the right mental space and something that we've prepared for all week long.
I want to send a shout out to Nathan Patterson, who's watching the video tonight. He informed me that he couldn't hear Ian, and there's a good reason for that. We taped another show earlier and had a lot going on at the station today.
So I've literally just been blowing hot air since we got here.
I forgot to turn your mic off, so that was user error on my part, and I apologize.
Could have been
for
on
that.
purpose. I don't know.
Good heads up there from Nathan. We appreciate the help there. We certainly need it.
Yeah,
but this is the Coach Grove Show. That's going to wrap up our first segment. And now that we got all the mic issues worked out and everything, we'll take a break. We'll reset and come back and jump back into our conversation. Looking forward to talking about the black shirts coming up in the next segment of the program. We'll be right back.
Are you shopping for a new car, truck, or SUV? Riverside Auto Group has a location to meet your needs. Browse their selection online at riversideautogroup.com or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, Riverside Nissan in Rome, or Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Week 3 edition of the Coach Grove Show. We're talking a little Darlington football here tonight, and we're going to jump back into our conversation. And one of the things Matt and I look forward to every week is hearing about your black shirts. The commitment and work your players are putting in throughout the season is evident to everybody that's been watching your team. But who are the winners of the black shirts from last week?
All right, from last week on offense, you got a little banged up early, but it was just tough as a $2 steak, I'd say. It just kept on operating the offense and just having just a gutsy effort all day long. So Levi Duggan got the black shirt on offense for his performance.
I've had a $2 steak. That's pretty tough. It really is.
Yeah.
On defense, he's Mr. Steady Eddie and just plays solid, week in and week out, and has been a key contributor for us. But Jace Donaldson gets I know he had a great performance on offense, but he played really, really well on defense, and he's just been Mr. Steady, consistent performer out there at corner. So Jace gets the black shirt for defense. On special teams, he is our backup snapper, and he went in there and perfect snaps all game long on PATs, on field goals, and on punts. So Preston Wilson, the governor, number 8, Preston Wilson, he plays running back and he plays safety. He gets the black shirt in special teams. On simulation offense, North Cobb ran a ton of power and counter plays, which require guards to pull from the backside. And this guy gave us a great look last week on simulation offense. So Wyatt Wood, a.k.a. Swamp, gets the black shirt there.
Swamp, the governor. I'm loving these nicknames. That's good stuff.
So Swamp gets the the simulation O black shirt, and then on simulation D, he's already got one before, but he's doing a great job. He's getting better, and he's working himself on the field on some special teams. That's my young linebacker and running back. He's a freshman, Mike Barron. You've heard me say his name before. Kind of really high on him. I think he's going to be a really good player for us in the future.
Awesome. Well, of course, you guys have 2 more non-region games, a bye left before you start region play. So what are the points of emphasis in terms of things that you continue to strive to improve in preparation for a really tough region schedule? We've talked about how tough this region is. I know that's a little bit down the way, but over these next couple of games in the bye week, what are you looking to tune up, Coach?
Well, the thing I'll tell you is preparation the last 2 weeks leading up North Cobb was very difficult. We were only, because of wet bulb temperatures and because of heat policy and then lightning within the area, we've only got to practice 4 times outside out of 8 practices that were scheduled. And so that makes a huge difference when it comes to physicality, when it comes to pass offense, when it comes to pass defense, because you don't get to do those things live. You can try to be as physical as you can, but it's still not as physical run game wise in the gym. And then you're sharing space with cheerleaders, you're sharing space with soccer academy, and so it's never ideal. And then your kicking game suffers. You can work protections but coverage and be able to kick it and kickoffs and kickoff returns, be able to fit those up live in space. Very tough to practice that. So being able to get back on the field and just get back to our normal practice routine this week, because the weather's been really good, and just get those valuable reps that we've needed the last couple of weeks to get some things cleaned up that we need to get cleaned up that we're deficient at. So that's kind of been the emphasis, correct the things on the film, but just be able to get out there with 3 good days of practice this week to practice it has got us back in the right direction.
Excellent. Well, Coach, this show's all about the Tigers, but as we were waiting on you to pull up tonight, me and Matt were setting the stage for this unbelievable lineup of college games. And we're going to pick some of those tomorrow on our Thursday morning show. So just got to pick your brain here. What games do you have circled on the schedule this week for college football? I know you're going to watch the Dogs play Marshall.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. I'm a Georgia Dogs fan. Always have been. Always will be. We live in Georgia. You got to pull for the Dogs. I don't know how you can do anything else.
I feel like that was a shot across the table there. But all right,
Georgia Tech fan here, Florida Gator, and Georgia Tech fan over there. So, man.
The coaches will work on Saturday morning. We'll get them out of there about 10:30 so they can get home and spend some time with their family. But we're definitely it's a big day. We won't have to work on Sunday this week because we won't have any film to prepare for us. It's next week as a bye week, so the coaches will have off, which is kind of a rare thing during the season. So we looked at the schedule last week. And there is a ton of football games. It may be one of the best weeks of college football that we get. But definitely Georgia Marshall, we're going to watch that game. Definitely Texas Ohio State. Alabama Florida State is one. LSU Clemson.
Ooh.
And then always watch Army play because they're flex ball, and I love to watch their offense. They're very similar to what we do. They play on Friday night, so we'll have to record that, and then I'll go back and watch that one on Sunday. Okay. So we'll watch Army on Sunday.
We got a message here from Kelly Fountain, so I'm going to reveal it here. It says, Wayne, stop hating on Bama. You're obsessed with Bama. So there you go. Thought I'd throw that out there for you.
He said he was going to watch Bama.
There you go.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Watch Bama for sure.
So we're getting some contributions here on the live feed. My mom chimed in with her Go Tigers, and she's actually at the Rome Emperors game tonight. Okay. So she's such a dedicated fan of the Coach Grove show that she's at a baseball game watching the Coach Grove show.
That's awesome.
It's good stuff. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back in our next segment of the program, we're going to shift gears and talk about the opponent. It's one that you're familiar with. Played them last year. The Ridgeland Panthers went to their place. This year you get it at home. And, home sweet home. It's been a long couple of weeks with road trips. It's got to be great to be back at Chris Hunter Stadium for the first time this season. We're going to talk about it when we come back on this episode of the Coach Grove Show. We'll be right back.
Are you shopping for a new car, truck, or SUV? Riverside Auto Group has a location to meet your needs. Browse their selection online at riversideautogroup.com or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, Riverside Nissan in Rome, or Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group.
We welcome you back to our third and final segment of the Coach Grove Show here on the WLAQ YouTube channel, also the Facebook Live feed. And we're glad that you've chosen to be with us for a while so we can talk some Darlington Tigers football. Wrapped up our previous segment by talking about the great slate of college football games coming up this weekend, big football weekend. But now we're going to shift our gears back into talking about the Tigers. And we've referenced this throughout the show, but you guys opened up with 2 road games, which really turned into 3 road trips in the last week. No matter what the situation is, it's always great to be playing at home, but it's got to be extra sweet after the start that you guys had with a couple of games on the road. So let's just open up this segment by talking about how excited y'all must be to get back at Chris Hunter Stadium in front of the home fans.
Yeah, there's definitely a buzz around campus this week, and I think each day gets a little more exciting getting to that. You know, school's back for us, which started, a couple weeks ago, but all the dorm kids are here now, and so we're going to get the full atmosphere. So the kids are going to be there. Our student section, they call themselves the Bleacher Creatures. There'll be over 200 kids in that student section, and they'll be live and they'll be loud. We'll have the Bleacher Creature pep band there, so they'll be making some noise when the other team has the ball, trying to make a difference there to mess up their calls, mess up their signal and snap count, and just to be back at home in front of the home Tigers, the alumni, and all that is going to definitely give our kids an extra boost of motivation, playing hard, dig a little deeper to try to come out with a home win. We've had a great week of preparation the last couple of days, and so I think our Tigers will be ready, and I think they'll be ready to play hard.
Well, Coach, you get Ridgeland coming to town. You played this team last year, got a big win on the road, but it was obvious they have some dudes. Figured out they've had a rough go of it. Opened the season with a mixed bag, lost to LFO, but bounced back and got a big win against our Armuchee last week. What stands out about this Panther team on the film to you?
Well, when they come out there, they're about 75 players, so they're they're double our roster, and they are very big, and they are very athletic. It's one of those teams you try to get out, and you got to get momentum going early on. You don't want them to get happy and start, playing hard because you could be in a dogfight. But they're a really good looking football team. Scheme wise, they're a 3-man front. You'll get some 3-4. You'll get some 3-3 stuff. You'll get some cover 2, 4, cover 3. So they're kind of multiple there. On offense, you're going to get 11 personnel, and you're going to get some 21 personnel. You're going to get some 2-back offense. So they really love the power and the counter game. They love to run ISOs and traps. Pass game wise, they're really good at vertical game. They try to stretch you deep, but they're also good at meshes, and they're pretty good at the screen game. So it'll be they got some good guys to do it with. They got some good athletes out there. It'll be a good contest, and we're looking forward to a hard fought game and a playoff atmosphere.
Well, Coach, we ask you this each and every week as we get ready for another opponent. And, of course, we're talking about the Ridgeland Panthers today. So when you watch the film, as a follow-up to what Ian just asked about, what jumps off the page, who are some of the guys that really stand out in terms of their personnel?
On offense, the skilled guys, you'll see number 1, Jadarius Hinton out there. He's a junior wide receiver. He's 6 foot, 185 pounds. He's got great ball skills. He's very shifty, runs good routes. Number 23, the running back, he's a freshman, but he's a big kid, Tabron Ball, and he runs really hard. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds. And you'll see the quarterback, number 5, Caden Williams. He's 5'7", 165 pound sophomore, but he is really shifty. He's a lefty. He's really shifty, can make plays with his arm and with his feet. You'll see 3 big offensive linemen up there. Number 50, Robert Burgess, is the best one. He's 6'1", 285 pounds. You'll see number 77, Tony Minnick. He's 6 foot, 270. And then you'll see the center, number 59, Caleb Burnett. He's 6'1", 270. On the defensive side of the ball, 3 guys kind of stand out. Their best D lineman, 50, Robert Burgess plays deep line too. Kind of the best technician up there is number 53, Hayden Murray. He's a senior. And then at linebacker, number 34, Heath Gregg. He's 5'10", 185 pounds. He's a physical downhill linebacker. And then their best DB is number 17, Asher Smith. He's a long, athletic kid. He's a good tackler and a good man-to-man cover guy. He's 6 foot, 170 pounds.
Awesome. Coach, you mentioned that you gotten back into the normal practice routine, and you mentioned some of the things that you got to work on that you were limited in the first 2 weeks, but what are some of the things you've been working on to drive home to your team in preparation for this first home game of the season?
Well, special teams play has been huge. So cleaning up some of those things, shoring up some of those things, and getting some great on-the-field practice, full-speed work on those special teams has been key. Unforced errors on offense has been a point of emphasis. You know, we can't have negative plays. We can't have busted assignments. We can't have bobbled snaps or mishandled balls. We got to operate our offense on time, which means we're trying to get 4 yards of play. And anything more than that's gravy. But we can't do it and have negative plays and shoot ourselves in the foot. And then on defense, we've got to tackle better, and we've got to have better communication out of the secondary to make sure everybody's on the same page. So those would be our 3 keys that we've been really kind of hammering home this week to prepare us for Ridgeland.
Well, Ian,
you get this one this time. I'm
okay.
going to give it to you. I'm going to serve it up
every week.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a switch up.
I know it is. I don't even know what to say, really. But, you know, obviously we've talked about being back at Chris Hunter Stadium, how special it is to get back at home, particularly after being on the road for the last few weeks and everything that goes along with that. But we always close out the show by talking about, you know, how your team's going to run out there in terms of the uniform combo. I feel weird asking this question because Ian's asked it every time, but I'm going to do it. What's the uniform combination for the first home game of the year?
All right, so we're going to go purple jerseys, and we're going to go with white pants this Friday.
Classic look.
So classic Darlington look. And we're going to see if we can get the triple option going and see if we can play some good downhill gated defense.
What's the message to those Tiger fans? First home game. Got to come out and support those Tigers.
We need you out there. You don't understand how much that affects the ball game and affects the kids. When we have a loud crowd there, that 12th man, the Lindell Skybox rolling up there, the bleacher creatures. We're going to have a big pep rally on Friday. We need the full Tigers out there supporting these young men. I mean, these kids sacrifice all year long in 100-degree heat all summer long to put out a good product to represent our school. And so, I love the live stream, but if you can be there, you need to be there because you will affect the game there then instead of staying home watching the live stream. So the Tigers need you. I need you. Come on out there, Darlington, to Lakeside on Friday night at 7:30 and see a show.
You can come. You can watch us and eat some popcorn after the game. You got back and rewatch it.
That's right.
That's
how you really should do it.
My 3 favorite words as a sports fan, and I say this all the time, I was there.
Right.
So
That's
I'll
right.
second what you say because it's, watching the big games on television, like the college games we were talking about earlier and all those sorts of things. The commentators are really good on those games and you get all the angles and all the stuff going on, which is fantastic. But there's nothing like the atmosphere of actually being, in the building, in the stadium and feeling the atmosphere from the fans and helping be a part of that and all those sorts of things.
That's
So
right.
couldn't agree with you more on that one. That's awesome stuff. Well, that's pretty much going to wind it down unless anybody else has anything they'd like to add before we wrap up. But this has been another episode of the Coach Grove Show, our Week 3 edition. We'll not have a show, I'll let everybody know, coming up next week because it's a bye week, and then we'll resume the following week. But best of luck to the Tigers this weekend, and look forward to being at Chris Hunter Stadium. Thanks for your time, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. That's going to put a wrap on the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time on the Coach Grove Show.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Coach Groves Show. We invite you to join us again next week as we discuss all things Darlington football with head coach Wayne Groves. Go Tigers!